Hello everyone and welcome back to TowerGate. It is TowerGate day number 1083, Wednesday, March the 25th, 2020. Thank you so much for tuning in. Well, of course it is Wednesday, and as you know, on Wednesday I take out the trash and have some chicken. So I'll be having some chicken. I think I'm going to go for, the chicken pot pies. You know, the frozen chicken pot pies, and they're the big ones. I think I'll do a couple of those. Just pile a couple big hot chicken pot pies on a plate. Maybe bake up some biscuits to go with it, and some hot chocolate. How's that sound? Okay, that's what I'm going to go with then. It's going to be the chicken pot pie. Now, let's move on to the news of the day. Well, just as I suspected yesterday, as I said in yesterday's video, Pelosi galore has been forced to back down. Yes, she's been forced to back down on that ridiculous 1,400-page disaster that she tried to pass off as a relief bill. Nobody buying. Now, Pelosi galore is now admitting that her House bill is dead and that they will now take up the Senate coronavirus bill. So, what happened here? Well, obviously what happened is that she got extreme pressure and pushback from rank-and-file demo commies in the Congress who forced her to make this decision. Pretty much what happened. And how do we know that? Well, we know that because not a single Democrat went out to defend the bill or to even say, yes, well, we've decided we're probably not going to do the House bill. We have to try to get something really quick, so we'll probably have to go with the Senate bill, even though we don't like it. But no, you saw none of that. Madam Botax was forced to go out on her own, hit all the TV shows this morning, all the news shows, and try to explain her position, which was untenable, by the way. So Pelosi was forced to go out on her own to try and save face, or keep from falling on her face. Now, no other Democrats, including Chuck the Cuck, could face the media and try to defend that 1,400-page monstrosity. And also, the previous day in the Senate, when you had one after another Senate Republicans coming up to destroy the bill in this stunt by Madam Botax, not a single Democrat in the Senate took to the podium to defend it, support it, or push it. So, the House will likely take up this Senate bill after the news cycle has passed, and of course that's to avoid embarrassment, and another massive fail by Pelosi galore. So I expect it's like 9 o'clock right now, p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday night, and I expect right now they're probably working on this, and probably sometime in the middle of the night or early tomorrow morning they'll pass the bill, preferably outside the media cycle as much as possible to avoid the embarrassment. So, thanks to Pelosi galore, the Republicans will win big in November. This is basically the end of Pelosi's career. She's fumbled the ball everywhere you can possibly fumble the ball. The Trump-Russia didn't work out. The Ukrainian witch hunt didn't work out. The impeachment didn't work out. Nothing has worked out for Pelosi galore. It's been one failure after another. She has led her party down the path of unrighteousness and decay and destruction. And they probably realize it. And they probably love to get rid of her, but everyone's afraid of her. But they all know that she's done in November. And she knows she's done in November. And quite honestly, she's not going to come back after turning the gavel over to the Republicans. She's not going to go back to being just a minority leader, another Democrat in the House. She's 80 years old. She's likely going to call it quits. And that's why she really doesn't care how much damage she does. Because she's leaving at the end of this congressional term. And she will go back to her hellhole, shithole in San Francisco, where she'll be dodging poop in the streets. And she'll be laughing about the $300 million that she's managed to accumulate by stealing from the people for the past 35, 40 years as a member of Congress. So she's all good, But she's going to do as much damage and destruction as she can on her way out the door. So there you go. Massive fail by Pelosi galore. Expect that the demo commies will be forced to capitulate and sign on to the bill because of the heat they are taking. And this has damaged a lot of Democrats, though. There's no question about it. A lot of Democrats in Congress, even Democrats in the Senate. Any hope that they had of winning the Senate, you can forget about that. And any hope that they had of holding on to the House, you can forget about that as well. People are not going to forget this one. They are not going to forget this. I can assure you of that. There's a big punishment coming for the demo commies, and it's all because of the disastrous failed leadership of Pelosi galore. Now, on top of that, we have Pelosi's nasty daughter, Christine, who was temporarily suspended, briefly suspended from her Twitter account for endorsing the assault on Rand Paul. She is a very nasty, very evil person, just like her mother. Now, meanwhile, back in Gotham City, we have Trump with an overall approval rating which is surging. An overall approval rating which is surging. He is currently being poll tested on the handling of the economy. This poll was taken on March 23rd, 2 days ago, during this financial, not collapse, but certainly financial difficulty that we're having right now. This was not taken a month ago when the stock market was at 30,000. It wasn't taken a month ago when Trump was getting the 250,000 job report or anything like that. This was taken 2 days ago on March 23rd during this crisis. And even then, on March 23rd, Trump's handling of the economy, 53%. 53%. And his handling of the coronavirus approval is now sitting at about 60%. So there you go. Trump's overall approval rating is surging. His handling of the economy, even during this crisis, is at 53%. And his handling of the coronavirus approval is at 60%. And Pelosi galore, her approval rating, low 30s. Low 30s. So Pelosi galore and the demo commies wanted to impeach Trump for withholding aid to Ukraine. They wanted to impeach Trump for withholding aid to Ukraine. So, based on that, shouldn't we impeach Madam Botax Pelosi galore for withholding aid from the United States? It's a fair question, don't you think? I mean, after all, Pelosi galore and the demo commies said Trump's withholding aid from Ukraine. That's an impeachable offense. So if withholding aid from Ukraine is an impeachable offense, then surely withholding aid from the American people is also an impeachable offense. I think we need to impeach Pelosi. I wouldn't even wait till November. Actually, on the other hand, we kind of need her. She's doing tremendous damage to the Demo-Commie Party, and she's the best player on our team, quite honestly. No, I think let's go ahead and keep her around. Let's go ahead and keep her around. She should be impeached. Certainly, based on the metric that she laid out, she should be impeached. But I think we want to keep her around. With the damage that she's doing and how much help we're getting from her, we probably want to keep Madam Botax around. Maybe, if we keep her around till November, we'll get a veto-proof majority in the Senate. And maybe 2/3 in the House. That'd be sweet, wouldn't it? Yeah, let's keep her around. Let's do that. So let it be written, let it be done. Now, where are we now? Oh, yes. So, with these recent poll numbers coming out, showing Trump's popularity surging, showing how much approval he's got for, showing how much approval he's got for handling the coronavirus and how well he's doing on the economy, that probably explains why Ricky Madcow and the other libs and the left-wing lunatic media want to stop airing Trump press conferences. They've obviously seen these internal polling numbers. They know that Trump's polling numbers are excellent across the board. And that's why they want to stop the Trump press conferences. He's making him look bad. He is the Teflon Don. No question about it. You just can't beat this guy unless you're smart. And they're not. In fact, that's right. I better not say that. I'll let that one go. But I'm sure you can use your own imagination of where I was going with that. Now, let's get back to the Daily Biden Gaffe. That's right, the Daily Gaffe by Burisma Joe. And today he's treating us to he's treating us to a double feature. A Biden Gaffe double feature for the day. So the first gaffe for Burisma Joe was when he went on to the Commie News Network with Jake Crapper. And as he's talking to Crapper, he coughs into his hand. In which case Crapper issues him a basic word of caution and advice. He's like, oh, by the way, he said you might want to cough into your arm, not your hand. In which case Burisma Joe says, well, I'm home alone. There's no one else here. In which case Crapper comes back to him and says, yeah, well, that's just, something that's we've been doing for a long time. That's like coughing in your hands, like really outdated, really old-fashioned. We've been coughing into our arm now for a long, long time. So, yes, it was pretty embarrassing moment for Burisma Joe, being called out by Jake Crapper for not coughing properly. But then he tops that by going over to ABC and talking to the fake news reporter over there at ABC. And she's talking about this press conference where President Trump was talking about the fact that, hey, we need to be thinking about getting back to work, and we need to make sure that essentially that the disease is not sweeter than the cure. In other words, make sure that what we do to try to deal with the virus doesn't destroy the economy and do even more damage in the process. So she wanted to get Burisma Joe's take on that. And so here is the exact word-for-word transcript of that Q&A between this ABC fake news reporter and Burisma Joe. Fake news reporter says, quote, "Are you at all concerned, as President Trump said, that we cannot let the cure be worse than the problem itself? Are you at all concerned, as President Trump said, that we cannot let the cure be worse than the problem itself?" And Burisma Joe responded by saying, quote, "We have to take care of the cure that will make the problem worse no matter what." Let me repeat that. Direct quote, word for word. Burisma Joe. "We have to take care of the cure that will make the problem worse no matter what." Yes, that's a nonsensical statement. But if we try, as hard as it is, to make some sense out of it and break it down and try to figure out exactly what was going through the hollow mind of Burisma Joe, maybe we can get an idea what the hell he's talking about. So let's break that down just a minute. So we have to take care of the cure. We have to take care of the cure. Okay. Not a very good selection of words, take care of the cure. I'm not sure what taking care of the cure means, but let's just roll with it. We have to take care of the cure that will make the problem worse. We have to take care of the cure that will make the problem worse, no matter what. No matter what? Certainly there has to be some things that would matter. What? There'll be a lot of things. It's just psychobabble. It's freaking psychobabble. The best you can come up with is we have to take care of the cure that will make the problem worse no matter what. I think that what he's saying, or what he's trying to say, is that the I think he's trying to say we need to deal with the health issue of the virus. It's more important, not just more important, but it's the only thing that's important, is dealing with the cure. And screw the economy. Screw everything else, no matter what. We have to take care of the cure that will make the problem worse, no matter what. In other words, we've got to take care of the cure, even though it will cause problems with the economy. Screw the economy. We have to deal with the health issue. Now, if this thing was wiping out 50% of the people or more, you could say there might be an argument there. But it's like in a very, very low, like 1.5 or 2% of people who are actually dying from this. And it's mostly people who are elderly, who have pre-existing conditions, have other issues. Almost everyone who gets this virus, 98%, are beating the virus. You know, some people don't even hardly notice they have symptoms. So you're going to wreck the entire economy, destroy the entire economy, put 70% of our businesses out of business, completely destroy entire staple businesses of our country that could decimate this economy and throw us into a depression that would take 10 years to recover from. You're going to do that because of a disease which is a temporary disease, which will probably be gone in 30 to 60 days. And at the worst case scenario, might kill 2% of the people, 3% maybe. And those will be people who are most likely to die even if they got a regular case of like influenza or something like that. So not only did he botch the actual wording so that you have no clue what he's talking about unless you sit and break it down like I just did, but if you just break it down like I did and you can kind of figure what he's trying to say, what he's trying to say is 180 degrees wrong, opposite, horribly wrong, bad wrong. And this guy wants to be president. Now, this fake news reporter on ABC was so distracted and disoriented by his answer that she didn't know how to respond to it. So she just asked another question and went right past it, knowing good and well that it made no sense to her or any of the viewers. But had she stopped and thought about it and looked at it and analyzed that and then came back to him and said, are you saying, Mr. Biden, are you saying that we have to focus totally on the curing the virus and screw the economy? Is that basically what you're saying? Because that is what he's saying in this statement. And yeah, and of course that would be 180 degrees wrong. And it will be proven wrong here probably in the next 3 to 4 weeks. When this thing starts to curve downward, in the next 2 to 3 weeks, it'll curve downward. Within probably Trump's talking by Easter, we'll be back to business as usual. We'll have to all continue to wash our hands, maybe not get into such large groups. But as far as going to work, we're all going back to work. Well, I've never not gone to work. But for those who are not going to work, they'll all be back to work. Back to school, back to work, the whole 9 yards. And we just have to, be careful. And hopefully by then we have treatments that can treat anyone who gets this, and like any other flu or what have you. And it will all be behind us. But what we'll have to look forward to is a quickly rebounding economy and getting back to life as normal. But if we took Brisma Joe's advice, he would wreck the entire damn economy for a decade and send us into a very deep depression. Unfortunately, the rest of the globe who haven't played this very well might find themselves in that situation, and it could certainly going to drag our economy down as well. Yeah, this is exactly why you can't let Brisma Joe slide when he makes these verbal errors. You have to straighten him out. First of all, try to figure out what he's trying to say, feed it back to him, make sure that you understood what he was trying to say, even though he can't actually articulate what he thinks. Help him out with that, because we really do want to know what he really thinks. And he got a pass here. Believe me, the gaffe is bad. The gaffe is bad. It looked really bad. But what he actually meant to say is much worse. That is why I took the time to break it down and explain to you what was actually going through his mind. We have to take care of the cure that will make the problem worse, no matter what. Wow. They better keep this guy as far away from a microphone and a camera as they can for the next 9 months. That's all I can say. And while that's all going on, we have Politico reporting that Commie Bernie is not dropping out. He's not dropping out. And he says that he's looking forward to the next primary. Well, the next primary isn't until April the 28th. April 28th. And he's also believing that there could still be another debate before then. Now, April 28th is about 5 weeks away. So maybe in 5 weeks, although New York has got a big problem, so they probably wouldn't be having the debate in New York. Whether or not they'll be able to vote in New York on April 28th, I don't know. Maybe mail-in ballots or something, but I don't know that people physically want to go to the polls in 5 weeks from now in New York based on where they are now. Because they got a big problem because they have horrible leadership there by the governor and the mayor of New York City, and the health commissioner there is obviously an idiot. Failed leadership in New York is why they have the problem they have now. Just the same as any other liberal state you go to, liberal policies fail every time they're tried. And that's what you'll see if you look at the effects that they're having in the liberal cities. Now, what is it that's driving Bernie to want to stick around to April 28th? Well, New York, obviously. Hell of a lot of electoral votes in New York. And if he gets a win in New York, it could, I guess in his mind, if he gets a win in New York, not only does it really give him a boost in delegates, especially if he were to win, with a pretty strong majority. And I don't think this is going to happen, by the way. I think Biden will probably win New York. But let's just say in Bernie's mind that he does win New York and he wins in a 60-40 type thing. That would significantly help him in the delegate count. But it's still not going to quite get him there. And he still doesn't really have a clear path, in my opinion, unless Biden completely drops dead. And even then, Biden would simply give his delegates to someone else or something. They're not going to allow Bernie to have the nomination, and that's just the way it is. So Bernie is going to hang around to at least April 28th, hoping that he can have a good showing in New York. But I don't think even if they vote in New York, I think it will probably be postponed. But even if they have the vote in New York, I don't think he's going to win. But it's possible. I mean, he's pretty popular there. But I think the majority of people, like we've been seeing all through the Democratic primary, the majority of Democrats are going to vote for Biden over Bernie. That's just my opinion. We'll find out. Well, the stock market was up 2,200 points yesterday. It's the biggest trading day in 80 years. And why is that? Well, it's for two things. It's because investors saw that this monstrosity of a bill put forth by Madam Pussy Galore, Botax, the bill, of course, was a fail. And they conceded that they're going to have to sign on to the Senate bill. And also the fact that Trump came out in that press conference and said that he would like to have everyone back to work by Easter, and that's what he's really focused on. And he's focused on getting people back to work. And that's really is what the markets have wanted to hear. They know that this is the reason for the downturn in the economy and the job losses and everything else. And they know once we get back to work that the fundamentals in the economy and all the investment for growth, it's all there. We just need to get back to work. And this is all they needed to hear. And this is what the Democrats did not want them to hear. So Trump wins again. And the market wins. And we all win. Because I was kind of hoping to see the stock market go in the other direction. I don't know about a lot of you, but I got a couple of stocks. And I've been taking a beating. So it was good to see that big increase. And it's nice to see the psychological part of this situation getting back to where it needs to be. And what they really need to do is get this bill passed. That will do a lot to stabilize the market and get it back into a growth cycle. Investors will want to get back in. We'll start to see the market go back up. And I'd say by the time we get back into the election season, back into late fall, late summer, early fall this year, I think we'll be back probably where we were in the 30,000 range, maybe higher. And we'll be actually doing quite well. So I think that's the thing to focus on right now. And of course, if they come up with a treatment, certainly if they come up with a cure for coronavirus, that would be epic. but it takes a while to get that rolled out. But even if they just find a treatment which has a 95% success rate or something in that range, that will pretty much seal the deal, and I think that'll get everyone back to work. So that's the two things everybody's watching and expecting will happen, and so that's all good news. It's nice to have some good news. But there's not a whole lot of good news over in the UK, unfortunately. They are really struggling again. I don't know what happened there. I think that I don't know if they've ever stopped travel from China to the UK. I'm not sure. I don't follow that closely, but I'm not sure. But for some reason, I mean, things really spiraled out of control in the UK pretty quickly. I mean, their numbers jumped substantially in a very short period of time, and I'm suspecting it's because that they didn't block travel from China or other places in Europe. I really don't know why they had such a spike, but obviously things are pretty bad there. But the point I want to make here is that the Great Britain's National Healthcare Service is now looking for 250,000 volunteers. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people who want to volunteer to go hang around with people who can probably spread the virus to them. Probably not a good idea. But they're in a bit of a pickle. And that's unfortunate to hear. We certainly don't like hearing that. But it sort of underscores the point that with Commie Bernie and the progressives and the nutcase far-left liberals here in the States demanding universal health care, demanding Medicare for all, when you look at not just here in the UK, the shortages they're having, but also the other problems that they've got with funding in their system over there. There's always problems with the funding. Boris Johnson promised he would build more hospitals and increase funding. They all promise that in the UK, but nothing, doesn't seem like any amount of money that they pump into their healthcare system never really seems to ever solve the problem. This is true of these Medicare for all type government-run systems that you see all around the world. Look at Spain. They had a devastating day yesterday. Look at Italy. They have government. All over Europe, they have government-run healthcare. Japan, government-run healthcare. So as you look around the world and you see all these places that have government-run healthcare, they're not doing as well as we are. And in fact, the World Health Organization even said, like a year ago, that the country that stood the best chance of handling a widespread epidemic or pandemic was the United States, our system. Our system's not perfect. There is problems, but I think there are free market solutions, not government-run healthcare. That didn't stop Barack Hussein Obama from tweeting out yesterday about how we need to save Obamacare. No, we need to kill Obamacare as quickly as possible. And hopefully the Supreme Court case will go in our direction, go our way, and we'll be rid of Obamacare forever. Well, more news coming out of the EU, which is obviously having an unbelievably difficult time right now. So yesterday, the EU, was the celebration, the 25th anniversary of opening all borders within the Eurozone. Yep, yesterday was the 25th anniversary of opening all borders within the Eurozone. And of course, they were celebrating that by closing all the borders in the Eurozone because of the crisis. Now, I like good news. I know you all like good news, and there's not been a lot of it to be had lately. So let me give you some really good news. Well, the good news is that Hollywood studios have suspended movie and TV shows, and they are postponing new movie releases. The biggest cinema chains across the country have closed the doors. Yay! Maybe we can make this permanent. Maybe Hollywood will shut down forever, and we can shut down the bilge and the filth that's being pipelined out of that shithole they call Hollyweird, and we can just shut the whole damn thing down. Just get rid of it. Shut down Hollywood. Let it die on the vine. Die on the vine. And maybe somewhere else in the country, maybe some little town in, North Dakota or Ohio or somewhere else, someone will start a movie production company and they'll actually start making movies that are worth watching. featuring actors who can actually act, featuring storylines that are actually somewhat believable, where they actually have a good storyline, where they have good characters, where they have a good cast, where they have all the things that we used to get in good movies that we don't get anymore. All we get out of Hollywood is a lot of garbage. Garbage. And I'm sick of it. So yes, there is good news. The Hollywood studios, plus, if the Hollywood studios go out of business, so do all those half-wit actors. And we don't have to hear their ramblings and all the crap that comes out of their pie holes. So nothing would make me happier than to see the entire Hollywood elite just disappear from the scene, if you know what I mean. Just would like, I'm not saying they should die. I just don't want to hear from him anymore. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see any more Robert De Niro. Don't want to see any more of his movies. Don't want to hear about Deborah Messing. Don't want to hear about, any of these other lunatics. Just let them die on the vine. Let the entire movie industry, mostly run by China anyway, let that all just die. Let Hollywood die. Take down the sign. Bring in the bulldozers. Bulldoze Hollywood. Build some condominiums. Do something. Do something else. And then maybe we can actually get a new movie production situation going somewhere else in the country where they'll actually make movies worth watching. Seems like whenever I want to sit down and watch a movie, it always has to be an old movie because I just there's not that many. Every now and then there's a couple good movies that'll come out because you still have some good guys out there like Michael Keaton or someone like that will put out a good movie, but mostly it's just 90% it's garbage. And so yes, I think it would be good news if Hollywood studios never come back. I will be happy with that. And maybe someone else can start making good movies for a change, like what they used to do. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow with more TowerGate. You guys take care and stay healthy. See ya. Bye.